Good morning, I'm Wenberg, and this is the CBC Morning Report for Thursday, January 18th. In our top story, the crime reduction fight will continue in earnest as the minister responsible for crime prevention, Corey Lane, says they will be stepping up programs so that last year's gains are sustained. One of the new areas which they will be looking to launch shortly is a program for parents. Mr. Lane was speaking to CBC News.
2027 for this month is such an example where we'll be launching off our part of our parenting series, not the full series, but part of our parenting series. When you look at more social ills, one of the things you will realize when you try and trace back causation or a correlation, you will realize that parenting is a very, very, very big part of making sure that we can get into that intervention and prevention.
A sharp focus is also going to be on the prisoner and reintegrating into the society.
The rehabilitation and reintegration. And what that means is that when you look at Barbados recidivism rate, the last few years we've been talking about it being 70%. Basically what it meant was that every 10 inmates that came out, 7 were going back in. Obviously that is a cadre of people we have to work with. Some people criticize it, oh, you're working with criminals, you're working with ex-criminals, but these are the people that want to commit crimes over and over. So this tertiary risk level target is a target that we have to work with to prevent them from getting involved in crime. So we are strengthening our program with the Ministry of Home Affairs, thanks to the Minister Abrams, and also the Superintendent Acting Payne. We're working with the prison to make sure we strengthen our partnerships with the rehabilitation programs while they're in, the reintegration programs when they are released.
Public and family members are being prepared for the reintegration of the former inmates so that there's a level of acceptance of them.
The public will now say this is not just Corey, even Pearson acknowledges that family has to be a part of it. And I have to salute all the NGOs again. I don't want to name some and leave out some, but we have family inmate programs. So we have back to school programs, Christmas programs, where the family go and they have lunch and they provide school things for those who have incarcerated and feel left out because their parents are not there, to maintain the partnership in family while they're incarcerated. Because one day, unless they die in there or they're sentenced to life, they have to come out. So we are actually starting the family reintegration program before and while they're in there to make that smooth exit. Because there are a lot of things we take for granted, especially those that have a long time. Their readjustment when they come out, their inability to get housing, police certificate of character, jobs. Some of them, when they went in there, we have Walkmans, can't even adjust to the technology. Farthest more get a job in technology. So all of these are things that we've really taken a note of and have several programs working to ensure that families are ready and the society is ready to forgive.
The programs are not neglecting victims of the crime either.
Victim support and restoring. So a lot of people complain that now you only look after the criminals, but what about the victims? There's a program that my unit is putting together where we're going to see entrepreneurship for these guys when they come out, where the government will help and facilitate, but they will work for money. They will get a portion of that money, but their victims will get a portion of that money too as well. So they're part of their rehabilitation and reintegration is saying sorry to the society in a tangible way by providing support for persons that they have harmed. And that is one of the programs I feel very excited about.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, aid and meds arrive in Gaza.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with...
A shipment of medical supplies meant for Israeli captives in Gaza and also for Palestinians in need has entered the Strip as part of a deal brokered by Qatar.
What we do know is that 2 planes landed early on Wednesday morning, military planes. They were carrying those medicines. They were supposed to go straight towards the border crossing of Rafah, but that didn't happen, mostly because of a last-minute change by the Israeli government. Initially, those medicines were not going to be checked because of a request made by Hamas, but last minute there was lots of pressure on the Israeli government, especially Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from the far right, part of the coalition, and that's why the medicine needed to be checked. And that's when, instead of crossing straight into Rafah, they went to the Karem Abu Salem border crossing, and we're hearing now that those trucks have been checked, and 5 trucks are now heading towards Egypt, and then later on heading into Gaza. And once they reach there, they're going to be taken to hospitals, then they're going to be split into different patches and taken to the Red Cross, who is in charge of delivering these medicines to where supposedly the Israeli captives are currently held. It's an extremely complex operation. There's lots of distrust. We're seeing what happened with the Israeli government changing its mind because of pressure of the ruling coalition, especially from the far right, who were saying, why are those medicines not being checked? There's also tension and concerns by Hamas saying that those medicines could be traced back to where the captives are being held, and that could have consequences on the ground too. And aside from all this, there is the concern that is among relatives of those who are being held captive. The ground operations in Gaza we have seen continue, the airstrikes, the fighting. We've been hearing from the Israeli government that they were going to start to decrease the intensity of the fighting in central and northern Gaza and towards the south. But the operations on the ground continue, and that's why relatives are under the impact that could have on their loved ones. However, what happened today, in a way, is a bit of shed some light, or in a way some hope among those whose relatives are captives right now. They're hoping if this agreement was made possible, well, maybe another one could come so that their loved ones could be released soon.
The United States government has announced it is once again designating Yemen's Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization. Washington's move on Wednesday to relist the group as specially designated global terrorists comes after the U.S. launched strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen in response to the rebels' attacks on vessels in the Red Sea.
The White House says the decision, which will come into effect in 30 days, is in response to Houthi attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. It's intended to hold them accountable for threatening civilian vessels. The Biden administration had removed the designation back in 2021 to try and ease the entry of humanitarian relief to war-torn Yemen. The Houthis say the sanctions will not change their tactics. Our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett, joins us now from Washington, D.C. So, Kimberly, tell us more about what this means.
Yeah, well, what this means is that if it finally goes into effect, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but essentially it will mean that members of the group, the Houthis, will not be able to enter the United States. It means that anyone who provides support to the Houthis will be potentially subject to sanctions, and also any Houthi funds that are held in the United States would immediately be frozen. Now, the White House said in a statement that The reason for this is that the Houthis, who are supporting the Palestinians in their war that Israel has launched on Gaza, that this is because of the ongoing attacks against commercial shipping in the Red Sea. And as a result, the White House is trying to protect not only global trade and freedom of navigation, but also the free flow of commerce. So the bottom line in all of this is the White House says it's not targeting the Yemeni people, but instead is targeting the Iran-backed Houthis themselves.
Kimberly, not a done deal, as you alluded to, a bit of a process to go through. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so essentially what's happened right now is that, as you mentioned, this designation has taken place. That was put forward by the Attorney General and the Secretary of State through the State Department. But now it has to go up to Congress. And this is where some objections could come into play, because there are a few members of Congress that are saying, hey, wait a second. The Houthis have just attacked commercial ships where there are very few people on board, been minimal to few casualties, and they're supporting and objecting to Israel attacking Gaza, where there have been in excess of 24,000 killed with U.S.-made weapons. Wait a second. We've got a problem here. Who's the terrorist exactly? Is it the Houthis or is it Israel? So there could be a little bit of pushback. But eventually, if this does go through, it'll be published in the Federal Register. And we expect that, given the Congress's overwhelming support of Israel, this is going to go through and could take effect next month.
Time now to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. It's going to be an interesting morning. Yes, you and I are going to get to interact. We are going to be talking about the environmental issues plaguing us right now. We know we have a dengue outbreak. We will have the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in to talk with us about some of the things you need to do as citizens. We will also be looking at the Barbados Independent Film Festival. We're going to get to meet two young up-and-coming filmmakers, upfront and personal. Yes, they will be with us, two young ladies in this year's festival. We're also going to be talking road safety, and that's where you'll get to talk to us firsthand and the road safety experts. So you can call us this morning because we will be discussing a number of issues that are happening on the roads and how you can remain safe on them. So all this and more coming up. We'll also be letting you call us for Parados. Yes, we will be having Parados in the house talking about 2024. Are you having any issues right now in terms of parenting and issues you want covered? Well, we can address those as well this morning. So all that and more coming up on Morning Barbados. But more news, sports and weather after the break.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and
building generational wealth and generational development are among the core issues included in a memorandum of understanding signed between the Credit Union Leagues of Barbados Limited and the Ghanaian Cooperative Credit Unions Association Limited. Yesterday's ceremony at the offices of the Cooperators General Insurance at Column Rock was attended by officials from Guyana and Barbados. CBC's Trevor Thorpe was there.
President of the Barbados Cooperative and Credit Union Leagues Limited, Kimar Cumberbatch, says the signing of the MOU is an important one for the development of the credit union movement and the people of Barbados. He credits the work of the Office of the Barbados High Commission in Ghana in helping to bring the initiative to fruition.
We as a movement, we focus a lot on education, member development, but we also focus a lot on one of our key cooperative principles, which would be cooperation among cooperatives. And some of the key areas that can be found in this MOU today focus on advocacy, training and development, education, deposit insurance, and digital solutions.
Board Chairman of the Ghanaian Cooperative Credit Unions Associations Limited, Dr. Bernard Bingham, said the relationship between Barbados and Ghana should have started long ago, but today's ceremony is good for both countries. He said nothing happens before it's time.
It is therefore important that we have entered into this memorandum of understanding that seeks to build capacity of both countries, that we can share ideas, but even more importantly on issues related to advocacy. Because when you have somebody who you can trust, you can rely on when there is need, is the surest way you can sleep and have a good sleep. And I do trust that these two organizations have what it takes to speak for and on behalf of the bigger credit union movement in both countries.
The Ghanaian Credit Union official says they are committed to the development of both countries and echoed the sentiments of his Barbadian counterpart, as well as the governments of Ghana and Barbados.
We are also appreciative of the two governments who remain committed and united in the cause of fighting for our two countries. So on behalf of the Ghana Cooperative Credit Unions Limited, where I'm chair and Mr. Basson is the general manager, Dr. Owusu-Nyako is the deputy general manager, we are committed to implementing this memorandum of understanding, and we remain grateful. We thank you for the attention.
The Ghanaian delegation, which is on a 5-day visit, will pay courtesy calls on industry stakeholders while in Barbados.
There's a call for those tertiary level students receiving free tuition to get on board with the government's Give Back initiative. Speaking at a scholarship presentation last evening, the Minister of Education, Kay McConney, revealed that the numbers who have done their hours is very disappointing. 4 deserving young women have received scholarships from the Rotary Club of Barbados West, valued at $5,000 per year for the duration of their studies. The 4, Kinara Innis, Divine Innis, Tiana Bell, and Chelsea Watson, are all enrolled at the Cave campus of the University of the West Indies.
I am genuinely grateful for the opportunity you have provided. I also want to extend my gratitude to the generous donors that made these scholarships possible.
This scholarship has helped me in being one step closer to achieving my academic goals. I'm greatly appreciative of your support and all the good that you guys do.
I feel very privileged to receive such tremendous support in my post-secondary endeavors. To the Rotary Club, thank you for your unwavering commitment to education and for recognizing the potential within each of us.
I am honored to be one of the recipients of this prestigious award. I have always admired the Rotary Club of Barbados and the civic work that you do, and I hope to give back and to become a member this year.
Minister of Education Kay McConney thanked Rotary for its partnership, as the ministry could not do it alone. She told the young women they demonstrated a wholesome outlook as they rose above their challenges. The minister also applauded them for choosing education as their path.
This scholarship that is provided by the Rotary Club West is helping us to do many things. It is not just about what it is doing for the student, which is perhaps the most important thing in helping you to access education. When we look at it from a broader perspective, it's helping us to lower the barriers to access. Because for many people, money is a real and significant barrier. And we thank the Rotary Club West for its commitment to lowering barriers to education.
Ms. McConney reminded them of those who supported them on the journey and their responsibility to give back. She says many now receiving free tertiary education are failing in that duty.
as I was looking at the statistics just before coming into this meeting, into this celebration this afternoon, I am noticing that in the academic year 2022-23, 90% of those students who were supposed to give back hours from the University of the West Indies did not. I am seeing that 90% of those students who were to give back hours from BCC did not. And we have to be able to correct this. Not that it is a failing or a fault of anyone, but I think we have the opportunity to elevate volunteerism and help us to help each other.
Rotary West's president, Gail Reeves, says for 21 years, the program has been committed to the development of education.
We have provided countless opportunities for young minds to flourish and thrive. Today, we witness the impact of our club's generosity as we acknowledge these exceptional individuals who have been chosen as recipients of the Rotary West Tertiary Scholarship Awards. I'd also like to acknowledge our scholarship committee members for their continued commitment to education and for providing opportunities that shape the future leaders of our community.
A golf charity this year helped to provide funds for the educational grants. Calls for more resources to bolster the Royal St. Lucia Police Force's crime detection and fighting strategies are growing amidst a rash of homicides in the first 3 weeks of the new year. Security officials are looking to leverage funds from the Health and Security Levy to strengthen the island's security forces. We hear more from DBS Television.
Alarming. These are the sentiments expressed by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre as St. Lucia witnesses an uptick in homicides. 4 murders have been committed in the first 3 weeks of 2024. Pierre, speaking to journalists during the weekly briefing room interviews ahead of the cabinet meeting, says he takes no solace in statistics that showed a decline in violence in the latter part of last year.
No comfort. I take no comfort for that. I'm stating a statistical fact that in the second half of 2023, the homicide rate decreased when compared to the first half. The measures that we put in place, these measures are going to be strengthened this year. Hopefully, we can continue that downward trend that was seen in the second half of 2023. But it's not good enough. It ought to be better. But I would thank the police for the efforts.
The National Security Minister pledges to combat St. Lucia's rising crime rates by injecting additional resources into the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, funded in part by the 2023 Health and Security Levy.
My job is to create the policy, to create the advice, and to make the resources available. And this is why we've been using the Health and Security Levy to make these resources available to the police. Well, I'm sure that you know now the dates for our budget presentation and the dates for our estimates presentation. During these presentations, particularly the policy statement, you will hear the resources that we have made available to the police. The resources, and we intend to increase that.
Prime Minister Pierre confirmed the government is actively exploring the possibility of reinstating a K9 unit following Commissioner of Police Crusita Descartes Peleus's recent plea.
Guyana's Private Sector Commission has welcomed the recently delivered $1 trillion budget. It has also commended the government for a sustainable and people-centered economic transformation, as we hear in this NCN TV report.
Highlighting the challenges faced with access to finance by small and medium-sized enterprises, the PSC chairman Kamal Singh is happy with the measures announced in the budget. A sum of $450 million is allocated for the replenishment of the Small Business Development Fund and $331 million to the Small Business Bureau. Singh says this will contribute to small and micro business development and the promotion of entrepreneurship.
It speaks volume, and it speaks that the government is very caring and they're very concerned about the ordinary man in the streets and not just the bigger businesses. And I think this budget overall touches every single sector in our economy. And not just touch it touches it in a significant way. And the significant way is to make sure that the money is spent in those sectors to develop it, to make sure we have more sustainability in our economy, to make sure that our economy and those sectors can grow to meet the needs of our local and international market that we're projecting by 2030.
Singh also spoke on the threshold being raised to $100,000 this year, with approximately 13,000 employees from the private and public sectors being removed from paying income tax.
We have seen tremendous pressure in so many areas, in skills, in our workplace employment, to make sure that our employees are properly compensated. The threshold that we've seen here right now will actually reach a lot of these small employees. I think that's a commendable stuff.
Some 100 loans will be targeted for disbursement and 1,362 grants will be issued, while 2,800 business owners will be engaged for training.
Fishermen in Tobago are noticing a decrease in kingfish and dolphin, or mahi-mahi, which are favorites for many households and restaurants in that island. President of the All-Tobago Fisherfolk Association, Curtis Douglas, says that several factors are affecting the changes in the fish stock. Tobago Updates has the story.
Fish is a staple in many homes in Tobago. However, getting enough fish to meet the demand is becoming difficult, according to the president of the All Tobago Fisherfolk Association, ATFA, Curtis Douglas.
We are seeing less of the kingfish given the time span in which they're supposed to be harvested, and you're seeing less right in the dolphin and some of the barracudas.
What they do catch is smaller than what they traditionally would. Additionally, flying fish is becoming more scarce.
Normally the flying fish will be netting. They are not netting, they are there, they're not netting, and they're behaving a bit strange. So we are observing all of that, and we are also looking at the size of dolphin that we catch different time of the year.
Douglas said there are several reasons for the change in fish being caught. For flying fish, he blamed the increase in Bajans fishing in the waters around Tobago. That matter continues to be the subject of conversations between the governments of Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. When it comes to kingfish and other larger species, Douglas blames seismic surveys being conducted by oil companies.
So you find they will behave erratically and run to shore confused because that constant noise drives them mad. So we've been observing this for over 15 years.
He also indicated that pollution is affecting the health of fish.
Because we have to be aware of pollution, because we have a lot of pollution, we have a lot of water streams running through. People is not practicing proper, safe pollution measures. They just throw things in the drain and obviously end up in the sea.
Douglas noted that ATFA is working with marine biologists to have some of the fish tested to ensure they are supplying Tobagonians with healthy fish.
In sports, the West Indies are in danger of losing the first test against Australia by an innings after a disastrous day 2. The hosts resuming their first innings on 59 for 2 in reply to the Windies' 188 were bowled out for 283. Travis Head top scored with 119, while pacer Shamar Joseph took 5 for 94. The Windies in their second innings are at stumps, are reeling on 73 for 6 to trail by 22 runs with only 4 wickets in hand. Kirk McKenzie has the top score of 26, while Josh Hazelwood so far has 4 for 18. Day 3 will begin this evening at 7:30, live on MCTV's Sports Max channel. The Barbados Pride Chairman of Selectors, Henderson Brooms, has cleared the air over Shane Dorridge's surprise inclusion in the squad for the 2024 Regional 4-Day Cricket Championship. And it's time now to see what this morning's weather picture is going to be like. The barometric pressure stands at 1014.6 millibars and the temperature 25.6 degrees Celsius. The humidity is 84% with the winds coming from the east at 36 kilometers per hour. It's presently partly cloudy. The seas are moderate in open water with swells ranging from 2 to 2.5 meters and increasing. Small craft operators and sea bathers should exercise caution. The first high tide will be at 8:27 a.m. and the second at 10:17 p.m. The first low tide was at 2:39 a.m. this morning and the second low tide will be at 4:39 in the evening. The forecast for today, cloudy with sunny periods with the occasional brief scattered light to moderate showers. And tonight is expected to be a mix of clear skies and clouds with brief isolated light showers. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 p.m. on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations on 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. Time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Well, good morning. And I'm asking you the question, is it a good morning? Of course it is. We were able to wake this morning and feel that sunshine. And even if you came down in a little bit of showers like I did, it's still all the reason to give thanks and praise this Thursday morning. Now, this morning, we're going to have quite an interesting show for you. Again, we're going to be seeing lots of creatives. We're going to be getting some tips for you about how to keep around that home clean given the dengue outbreak we're having now. We're also going to be talking road safety. Yes, and I want you to feel free to call us this morning at 228-5562, 228-5563 to discuss some of the things that happen on the road. We don't want road rage necessarily, but we want all of you to be safe. So the Barbados Road Safety Association is going to be in. We're also going to be getting to meet these young up-and-coming filmmakers. Yes, we're going to be getting to meet with quite a few of them to find out what they're doing, why they would have won the grants they won, and so on. We're also going to be doing Around the Throne. So yes, we'll find out what that's going to be all about. But it's time now for me to say a pleasant good morning to Mr. Ronald Chapman. No COVID this time around we're dealing with. He's the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer, and he's going to be talking to us about dengue. Happy New Year to you, Ronald. It's been a while. How have you been?
Thank you very much. Morning, Barbados. Happy New Year to you too, Wendy. It's been a very long while. Haven't seen you in a bit.
Yes,
things are going pretty okay personally.
Okay. Right. But you're not that okay because look at it. Dengue fever outbreak, and imagine having to take homeowners to court over the whole situation. Break it down for us. What's really going wrong?
Well, over the years, we've also always had dengue fever in Barbados. The dengue is said to be endemic in Barbados, which means there's always a low level of spread across the island. However, periodically, what we would have is flare-ups, and those flare-ups are usually found during the wet season. We have additional rain. There are places where mosquitoes breed. Mosquitoes breed in water. I must stress that, not in bush. There may be water in the bush, but there must be water for mosquitoes to breed. So you get some mosquitoes breeding, and once you get that, then the likelihood of spread takes place. I know we've been seeing that over the past 12 months. We've seen an increase in dengue cases, and currently we've had I think about 6 hemorrhagic dengue cases, which means that persons deteriorate to the point where they have internal bleeding. This is a very worrying situation. So we are taking this extremely seriously. And part of that process is that we're intensifying our surveillance program, and to boot, we are also increasing and intensifying our enforcement program. So persons may find themselves getting an abatement notice. This is a notice which basically said that the inspector's been at your home or your premises and we found mosquito breeding, or we found conditions which lead to mosquito breeding, and you may find yourself before the law court.
Okay, now when I receive this notice, does it give me any instruction as to what I need to do? Are there any resources, supplies, etc., that I may be able to get from the Ministry of Health to assist me with getting rid and eliminating the mosquitoes?
Not necessarily that way. What the notice basically says is that we found this on your property and you are responsible, because each person is responsible for their own property, to get rid of the problem. Usually it's not something that needs additional resources by the Ministry of Health or any other government agencies. Usually those sort of issues, we will offer assistance, but in terms of what is happening is you go to someone's home and you find 2 or 3 barrels, 2 or 3 buckets, other receptacles holding water, and they're breeding mosquitoes. Or you may go to someone's premises and they have overgrown vegetation, or they may have been dumping or heaping up refuge on their property. So it is up to them now to follow the legislation, and the legislation says that this is a violation. So you have to treat to that issue. So
but that's when we know, Mr. Chapman, that's when we know who the homeowner is. We're also plagued by a number of lots which are just there for eons. Sometimes members of the communities decide to get together and clear the brush because, you know, we might see vermin or the same mosquitoes impacting on our households. But is there any way for us to perhaps maybe get any other units, if not within the Ministry of Health and any other agency, to assist with some of this clearing of the lots that we're not sure of ownership with?
Okay, so I want to shift the conversation away from government assistance, because each person has responsibility for their own lots. The Ministry of Health and Wellness works with other departments to identify those lots. Somebody is paying land tax on that lot. Somebody has title to that lot. And the Ministry of Health have access to all of those titles. So once you call the health inspector will find out who has title to that lot. And sometimes those lots are distressed. They're in some sort of adjudication, and in that case, the Ministry of Health may work with, we may provide our own labor force to clean the lot. Sometimes you have an old age pensioner or somebody who's indigent that we would provide assistance to. And presently, the NCC has the bushing program going on. That program is predicated on the environmental health officers. We go out, we identify those lots, we serve notice on those lots and give people time to clean them. Sometimes those persons are overseas. So what the NCC has been doing, they would then debush the lot and then send the bill to the owners of those lots. But the thing is, the law says basically that you are supposed to take care of your own premises. So there are, as I said, there are mechanisms for specific cases, but generally, persons who own a lot, persons who own any premises at all, they are responsible for their own premises.
Okay, another thing that unfortunately is cropping up is the sighting of rodents. A topic I hate to have to touch because I cannot stand the idea of rodents. But It's been increasing. What's happening? Are we not cleaning sufficiently?
Oh, there's a lot happening. One of the things that's happening across Barbados that we found is that Barbadians are not taking as much pride in their environment as they used to. One time you see the old girl come outside, she's you got the rake or the scraper, as people call it, the hoe. They clean up around the place, they sweep, they pile up. There was a lot more. Persons take this stuff and they put it for the refuse collection truck to take up. Nowadays, we are finding persons going down to the beach. They have the picnics and they leave everything on the beach. They leave the food scraps up next to the road. They throw stuff through the bus windows. They are indiscriminately dumping. We have lost pride in our environment. And as a tourist destination, we can't afford to lose pride in our environment. So, and not only is this in the proliferation of rodents, it is also contributing to the proliferation of mosquitoes. So what the Ministry of Health and Wellness is doing is that as I said, we're taking this very seriously. We have set up 2 programs, and these programs will run in tandem. A mosquito control program and a rodent control program, and there are a number of tenants to these programs. You will hear and see more about this in the coming week. So we are in the process of of fine tuning it right now, but in the coming week you will hear a lot more about this. And as part of that program, as I said, we are going to increase our intensity in terms of enforcement, because we are at the stage now we cannot wait. We cannot joke around with this, because people need to have some sort of satisfaction where it comes to addressing these issues. They can't have their surroundings being. They need to be able to enjoy their property. I think that's the better. Yeah.
Now, in this rodent eradication program, have we been doing more baiting in public places? Because you see these little cement log looking type things with MOH on them that are meant to trap the rodent in there. I remember that there was a time when you could go and collect rat bait from the ministry and so on. What are the facets of the program this time around?
Okay, so the Ministry of Health will be doing a lot of baiting. Now there are a number of ways of getting rid of rats. We have a simple process. You build them out, you starve them out, you kill them out. Part of the killing them out is the putting down of bait. But before it, one of the things we want to do is to starve them out, which means we need to reduce the amount of available food to them, forcing them to eat your bait. Because look at it this way: if you're, as a rodent, which you prefer to eat? You want to eat a piece of a hamburger that's been left next to the street, or you want to eat bait made of grain? So you want to be able, and I think the answer to that is obvious. So you want to be able to clean the surroundings, then you put down bait. The rats have no alternative, so they eat the bait. So we are going to be putting down bait. We are going to be improving the level of sanitation on the streets. We are going to be working closely with a number of agencies to address these issues. There's going to be a media segment where we engage with the public. This conversation this morning is part of that, where we engage with the public. We let them know what we're doing so that we don't have any surprises. Persons out there can work to address their own issues, and we will help where we can to help to bring this problem under control. We'll help persons to help themselves.
Okay, and that's what I want to find out from you now. What do I need to do in terms of keeping my surroundings clean, not just against the mosquitoes, but also in terms of the rodents? What should I be doing?
All right. So one of the things that we want persons to do is to exercise a level of diligence and pride in their surroundings. Simple. Take 10 minutes. It only takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes to walk around your home. Look for any standing pools of water, buckets, drums. Sometimes you have holes in the guard walls. Anything that can hold water, and empty that water out. If you cannot empty that water, you can treat that water. And there are many ways of treating that water. It may take a little long for me to talk about it now, but you can use some sort of maybe diesel, kerosene oil. You can use some, there's some chemical called aquatine. There are mosquito dunks. You can fill it in with sand. You can empty it out. Whatever the process you use, depending on where the mosquitoes are breeding, you remove that water or you restrict the mosquitoes. In terms of rodents, you want to walk around, you want to clean your surroundings. Remove the accumulation of refuse, because those accumulations allow for what we call harborage. The rats will live in those areas. And we want to reduce any possibility of rats finding somewhere to live. Now, in terms of the public places, the Ministry of Health will deal with those areas, and we will work with business owners to deal with those areas. But we want people to clean and to be vigilant where the water is concerned.
Now, what about food left overnight? Like, I know, for example, we have a lot of feeding in the city, dog food. You know, when they don't finish everything that's in that pan. What should I, as the homeowner, be doing?
Okay. So as a homeowner, as I said, there are a lot of things you can do. For example, most of the times your dog becomes ill with leptospirosis or something of that sort. Is that persons feed the dog and they leave the dog food with the dog. If you're going to feed the dog in the evening time, what you want to do is to give the dog the food, let it eat, and when it is finished, remove everything else. Remove the scraps, remove anything that's left over, and clean the area. Because for most dogs, once they're satiated, they're not going to, the rats will come and share the meal, and the dog's not going to do anything else. There are some dogs that will to their food vehemently, but for most dogs, they're just going to leave it there, or the rat's going to wait till they're sleeping and sneak in and eat. You want to be able to remove the overgrown vegetation from around your home. And what you can do as well is, if you have an open lot, you have areas where you know that people have not been as diligent as they should be, you can give the Ministry of Health a call. There are 7 polyclinics across the island. I'm not going to give all 7 of the numbers, but I can give you the main number for the ministry, and then they can direct you to one of the 7 polyclinics. But if you know it, let's say you live in St. John, more than likely the polyclinic that is responsible for you is St. John Polyclinic, or in some cases the Morris Bayer Polyclinic in the north. And in Christchurch, you have the Oysters Polyclinic. So there are polyclinics which have inspectors attached to them. You can give them a call, and for those specific challenges, we will offer you some assistance. The number for the main ministry is 536-3800. And you can call the main ministry there, and someone can direct you to one of those polyclinics as well. But for this, it is very simple, Wendy. It's so simple, it's unbelievable. Take 10 minutes, walk around your house, and just deal with those issues. And we're like 90% there when persons do that.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. That's all it takes, folks, 10 minutes. I think instead of calling, I'll probably call you, Mr. Chapman. Just kidding. But
please. I'm asking persons to call the polyclinics.
Yes.
When I do these states on the radio, I get inundated with calls, and it's very hard to do any other work for the rest of the day.
But that was going to be my final question to you. Do you have all the manpower support needed for this major exercise you're undertaking?
There's always room for more manpower. I can't say that. There's always room for more manpower, but you have to work with what you have in hands. Life is about reality, and you have your wish list, but you have to work with what you have. And the most important thing is that the impact of the officers is felt. That's what's the most important thing. When they go, they deal with the issue, resolutely and immediately, so they can move on to the other one, so they don't have to be constantly coming back to check to make sure that someone complies. So that is part of where the enforcement comes in. Once we come and we deal with the issue, we move on, because if you're not in compliance, you may or may not find yourself before the law courts.
And we don't want that. We want to thank you so much for joining us We want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ronald Chapman, the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer, talking to us about dengue and how we need to eliminate those rodents. Now, coming up, we're going to get to meet two young ladies involved in the Barbados Independent Film Festival. Yes, we're going to be talking with Emily Clark and Kia Bartlett. We'll tell you more about what they have to offer after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacey Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, we're talking the Barbados Independent Film Festival, and we are going to get to meet some of those filmmakers this morning. Yes, I want to welcome Emily Clark and Kia Bartlett. Emily is the producer, Kia is the director. Right, two young ladies, their film, When Kites Fly. All right, I think we'll go to the producer first, Ms. Clark, to tell me about the concept behind your film, its length, what's it really all about?
Yes, so When Kites Fly is a 7.5-minute short film. It's been produced as funded by the Barbados Independent Film Festival's collaboration grant. And it's showcasing a bit of the history and culture and meaning of Barbadian kites and the kite community.
Okay, interesting. Now, what was it like for you, Kia, to direct this? Is this your first foray into directing? What was it like for you?
Well, as a student, this is my first large-scale kind of directing opportunity. So while I'm still in school, it was kind of difficult juggling the two. But
and do we mean in school at the Creative Arts Center at UE?
Yes, the Arbara Creative Center for Imagination.
Okay. Now, we all know that kites are something Bajans love, mostly around Easter. But kites are also something that are very bothersome to the majority of us. Yeah. And we've even had to have legislation enacted to tell people when they should or should not be flying their kites. I hope you've incorporated that somewhere in there.
Yes, definitely. So I don't want to give too much away because it's a very short film, but we definitely we spoke with a local kite maker and different kite makers, as well as going into the community, and we got some snippets of what people in the area of, in the Eagle Hall, President Kennedy Drive, there's a lot of kite flying out there. And getting people's opinions and feelings about it.
Any expletives? Because I know that's how Bajans generally feel about it.
Well, this film is very PG, very general
Very
audience.
good,
Everyone
very
can come and
good.
watch it. But I think everyone has really definitely, shared their various sentiments about it.
Okay.
Yes, but we also hope that with, getting the perspectives, it was very interesting. We spoke to local kite maker Ezra Lord, and, getting the perspectives and meanings and, caring more about that culture, I think will help add a better understanding, a well-rounded understanding of how we can preserve our culture without also, creating that nuisance. Yes.
Yeah. Now, for you, directing, what was it like? Were you getting nervy at intervals? Did you think you weren't gonna get it to come over the way you wanted it to?
Oh, well, definitely, because I remember meeting Kwame for the first time to work on the film with him, because he co-directed with me. And definitely, there was definitely some nervous energy the moments before I was supposed to meet him. But I found that when I sat down and we started talking, all of that just flew out the window, and we were able to share our passions about film while working on the project.
How many hours did you spend?
Well, in that first discussion, we probably talked for like 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, we spent a lot of time just brainstorming and talking about it. And often he would point at his arm and say that he has goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So from then on, that was the best start I could have asked for.
Okay.
And just to add some perspective, Kira's mentioned Kwame Lestrade. So part of the collaboration grant is to help young filmmakers, such as ourselves, to be able to produce films. And we also have the support of Kwame Lestrade is a UK, Barbadian, internationally known director. So he would have supported, helped Kira with the process. And then I would have got support from Sana Alsop of Parachute Film Studios. And so we had a really great crew as well, of many local crew, as well as some trainees, so that we were
How
well
large a
supported.
crew?
It was about 16 people.
Ooh,
yes, 16
okay.
people. Yeah,
16 people in 7 minutes.
Yes.
So will there be a sequel?
We hope so. There was so much footage that we couldn't fit in, because we want to still be able to tell that story. We want people to be able to, people to get bored. We want it to be engaging and, to the point as well. But there was so much footage that we would have loved. We could have made a feature film.
It sounds that way. Now, in terms of that mentorship that you both received, how instrumental, how much more did that help you in terms of building on the foundation you already have and had in terms of your knowledge and your skill set, and showing you that you can do more and be more in terms of film? I'll go to you first.
Well, that's such a great question.
Don't need to be nervous.
Well, the mentorship that I received from Kwame, so I had previously worked with Parachute Studios as an intern. So with them, I worked on the HBO Succession show, as well as Rihanna's Run This Town promo video for the Super Bowl. So on those shoots, I kind of gained some confidence as a grip, so working with the equipment and so on. But working with Kwame, it challenged me to be able to communicate my vision with people, because film is a very collaborative process. So you need to learn how to share and be able to work well with others. So that was definitely the challenge, and I subtly received some tips on how to do that while watching him, and also the two of us conversing together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have a foray into photography, and that is your thing. How was it for you having to put down that camera and deal with a whole different role?
Well, I've always loved being in all parts of production. So I started out, as you mentioned, in photography. I've done a bit of cinematography, and I've been with Parachute as well. I've been working in different various production roles. So for the HBO Succession, I was production supervisor, and for the Run This Town, I was production coordinator. So I just love seeing all the parts of it. And as a single photographer, usually you're doing a lot of it yourself. And so now working as a bigger production, you get to be able to just be in that role of looking at all those moving parts and making sure everyone's where they need to be, everyone is fed, everyone is getting what they need so that we can
and
be able to
manage
make it.
16 people with 16 different personalities.
Yes, and like, scheduling, we had some weather hiccups in between there, and as you know, with the kite flying.
And if there's no wind, there's no kite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, it was definitely it's a challenging process, but as I said, the support was great. So for me, it was definitely enjoyable, and we had a great crew as well. So everybody really pulled together to make sure that it happened, even with a small budget.
Now we're talking about that budget. You've gotten the grant, right? How were you able to secure it? What did you have to do versus some of the other young up-and-coming independents who may have wanted access to that funding as well? What helped you to get in there?
Well, Kia is technically the awardee of the grant, and all of us that got to work on the film get to benefit from the experience of working on it as well. The Barbados Independent Film Festival, they provide this collaboration grant every year. So they choose filmmakers, and so being part of the community, I tell people to come out to be part of the film community, come out to the Barbados Independent Film Festival. When they see a lot of the shorts that are a lot of student films, if you have shorts or feature length, submit them to be shown, and most of the awardees, I think, are chosen from that.
Okay, what was your initial submission?
So this year it was a bit different. I'm not sure the full the full process, but I definitely say, like, Kia has been part of the film community as a student, and now even stepping more further into that. Yes.
Okay, so that's awesome. Now, Kia, when individuals watch this film, what is one of the things you want them to take away from it?
Well, I think an interesting perspective that Ezra presents is that kites are more than just the paper and the stakes formed to make the shape. They're a representation of the person who's made it. So definitely I want to kind of change, well, I definitely want persons to think of kites more than just an object. And maybe, give the kite loving community a little bit more leeway in terms of the noise.
Okay, okay. So we will hope for that. When are you all being shown?
So the film premiered last night, was the first night of the Barbados Independent Film Festival, and it's going to be showing several nights this week. So the full schedule is on the website, barbadosfilmfestival.org, as well as on the Instagram page, Barbados Film Fest. And so you'll see the full schedule. It's going to be showing several of the nights, along with a number of international and local films. So they've got films from all over the world, UK, Greece, America, Iran even.
Australia.
Yes.
So
it's a great night.
For me, hearing about the fact that your kites are going to be symbolizing part and parcel of what is Barbadiana is interesting, because a lot of other people too are also showcasing their culture. I remember the one with the Aborigines, the Great British documentary that's going to be coming as well, talking about a lot of things. So people, go on out, watch this film. Congrats to both of you on having been selected to be a part of this year's showcasing, and continue to do it. I'm looking forward to see what else props up over the next couple months in terms of your, not just collaborations, but in terms of you as individuals going into the world of film.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, that's Amlia Clark, and the producer, and Kia Bartlett, the director of When Kites Fly. So go on out to the Barbados Independent Film Festival and see what Bajans have in store for you. We will be right back on Morning Barbados.
Hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroll Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. We're going to be talking about an experience. It's one that's around the throne. But which throne are we talking about? Well, we'll get to find out quickly. I have with me today Dion Renee, who's a prophetic psalmist and lead singer with the Naba Band. I have Laurel Peterson, who's a backup singer with the band, as well as Vicky Otorina, who's also a backup singer. Now, we're talking song, we're talking psalms, we're speaking to the Lord, the word, the ministry. So, what is this experience that we're supposed to get coming out of around the throne?
Oh my gosh, it's going to be an encounter, authentic worship. Speaking about around the throne has to do with just you and God, a presence that no matter what's going on in your life, whatever the situation is, it is going to be a place where you and God can actually just meet. Authenticity in worship, as we know, it's original sounds. Yes.
Okay, original songs.
Yes.
So are all three of you ladies songwriters?
I am.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yes, so the songs that we'll be singing at the event, there are 4 songs, and those were originally, composed by myself.
Okay, so how long have you been into songwriting?
I would have to say about 8 years.
Oh, okay. Dion, you go by any other name in terms of your songwriting? Because you know a lot of people tend to pen under a pseudonym as opposed to their real name.
Just Dion Renee.
Just Dion Renee.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's nice. Now, in terms of themes and ministering those themes, Vicky, backup isn't the easiest job. People seem to think that, but you have to be in tune and on time in terms of keeping that melody up. So for you, how have you been enjoying the rehearsal of these songs and so on?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's been a wonderful experience, because what we see as the example in Dion Renee, our psalmist, is that God has given her these songs, whether it's in the church or maybe she's sleeping, maybe it's a dream, wherever, she has been obedient to release these songs. So we see the example of obedience. We see the example also of her using the gift that God has placed inside of her.
Don't hide them under bushel.
Yes, and that's what's going to be happening on the 28th of January. We are going to be demonstrating that this is what God has given us. He's given us worship, and we are executing that vision which first gave to our beautiful Laurel here.
Yes.
And we're executing that vision with the songs that he gave to psalmists. And as the backup singers, we have to be able to be in tune with her and be in tune with God and what he wants, to be able to create that atmosphere that will bring healing, deliverance, restoration to the people, and a place of freedom. But as a backup singer, I've been able to look on and mirror that obedience and also support this very timely move of God.
So we're all on the throne together.
All on the throne together.
Yes.
Obeying, worshiping, mastery, ministry. What are some of the themes that come out in your 4 tracks, Dion?
Okay, so one of the songs is called Beholding the Throne. And it's basically actually around the throne experience that you would get from this song. As you would know, in the Bible, in Revelations 4, it speaks about the worship around the throne and how
The facts say
heavenly beings are worshiping God, forgetting about titles, forgetting about everything that's going on, and just worshiping God. They remove their crowns and just fall to their faces in worship. So this particular song is a worship song speaking about how holy God is, how worthy he is, and we just ought to worship him for who he is.
Okay. Now, what I like when I go to concerts and stuff is I actually like when there's a song for me, where the chorus comes out and I have 3 or 4 easy lines that I can sing along with, so you can't really hear that I can't sing that well, but I can feel engrossed in the production. So we're gonna have that too.
And
no.
More.
Oh, and more.
More.
Oh,
And
oh,
more.
okay.
And more.
I thought you were telling me no because you don't want to hear me sing. No, so that's good, because now we're seeing 3 females here. But for me, when I hear gospel, I also like to hear a bit of bass. Will there be any males accompanying you all?
Certainly. There are actually 3 or 4 males that we would have on the team for that particular evening.
Good, because we can't be, while the women are usually right in every respect, we can't leave the men out.
It's true.
Yeah, we can't leave the men out. And then too, we're always talking about all of us being and one in unison, in harmony, in terms of what the Lord has done for us and he's doing for all of us. Now, how long have you been doing backup, Laura?
Oh my gosh. I believe half of my life.
Half of it, okay, without telling them your age.
And today's my birthday. Oh my gosh.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank
Yes.
you. But really, half of my life I have been experiencing that. But moving, when I started backing up the psalmist, Dion Rennie, it was different.
Okay.
Because it was taking me not just the hymn book or what someone sang, but we went according to the theme of the month,
yes.
Under the umbrella of Divine Visitation Assemblies, led by Dr. Thomas.
Okay.
We see that every month there is a theme.
Okay.
And
so church doesn't get boring.
No.
Okay. That's excitement then.
No.
That's excitement. Because sometimes you get tired of doing the same
Oh my
dreary
gosh.
hymns and that kind of thing. So to actually know that we can be in a spirited exchange.
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, ladies. Now, when is the event? Where?
So the event is on January 28th, that's next Sunday, at 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be at Divine Visitation Assemblies, which is a subsidiary of the Fresh Anointing and Wisdom Network, which is led by Dr. Andre Thomas. And we are located in Roebuck Street, 126B, Plaza Central.
That's upstairs.
Upstairs.
Yes.
So after you pass Glasesco on the right, it's the second building after there. It's a orange building.
Okay.
And you have to register because there are going to be lots of people there, and we want you to have a seat.
All right. But yeah. So yeah, we will all have a seat there. They'll find you ladies, right? So that we can be a part of the Around the Throne worship experience. And yeah, I'm wishing you well. Keep you doing your songwriting. Keep backing her up and enjoying the ministry. And I'm sure that all who come out to hear your voices in support and praise of the Lord around the throne will also want to be a part of the throne. Because everybody who comes will not have already been at the church. So ladies, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you.
And have a great experience.
Thank you.
We'll be back after the break with more Morning Barbados. We're going to get to talk road safety pretty shortly. So remember, stand by your phones, 228-5562, 228-5563, because I know that you have lots of concerns about what's going on our roads.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV 8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.ca. cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an
Something lost in translation in terms of the planning process and getting in contact with the government agencies. And after that, we worked in collaboration with Banks Holdings Limited. And I must say that they really, really assisted us in terms of helping us to get our message across and to reintroduce ourselves in a better way to the public.
To the public, because your executive did change.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did change. Now, for you, Erskine, 2023, in terms of seeing all that happened on the road and doing your job as PR officer, how easy or difficult was it?
Why it is difficult is because most motorists believe that once they've gotten a license, they can do anything and get away with it.
Oh dear, not so good to hear.
It isn't good. When we get our license, what happens is that we tend to forget what we were taught. The Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act tells you what you should do. The regulation tells you that. But somewhere along the line, just like at school, you were taught how to multiply and add at school. But then when we get here, now we got shortcuts.
We like a calculator.
Yeah. You understand? Like you could, yeah, simple, like going to the gas station. Nobody's use the fingers anymore. They run to the phone or the calculator. And it's
like, somebody's here, like we're here, I'm here thinking jokingly, every day we don't need algebra. We only need to add up the money. So the motorist might be thinking the same way. Why should I signal that I'm turning left?
Or right or whatever.
Instead of going out there doing that when I have an indicator. Or sometimes I might say, well, look, I'm so close to the turn. Why bother to turn on my indicator?
But some people don't even use the indicators. One guy told me one day, he said, the less I use it, the longer it lasts. Which in my opinion is nonsense.
Wait. I want to understand that. I want you to say that again for me, Erskine. Yeah. The less he uses the indicator, the longer it's going to last. So he thinks by flicking it on and off, it's going to automatically wear it. No?
That's what he feels.
Oh, and I don't think he should be behind the car at all if he sees it working that way.
You would have to be on the road like I am, because teaching people to drive, I see it daily. The amount of nonsense that people do. And then when you have to speak to them, then you get cursed. You get abused. And you are doing the right thing, but they're doing the wrong and expect you to accept the wrong they're doing.
No, I'm laughing here, but it is not at all laughable, Roland, because
We understand.
when you forget to do what you ought to do, that's when we have incidents, that's when we have loss of life. And I was listening the other day to one of the insurance people talk about the level of claims that are on and the fact that people's premiums are going up just because of improper road usage. I mean, look, we have this vendor here on screen. I mean, we tend to blame certain types of vehicles, which isn't necessarily correct, but these are the things that we see every day, blocking up junctions for long periods of time. I mean, you have to divert. Now tell me, how does a vehicle get so far from the roadway into cane grounds and all the other things we see in Roland?
Well, honestly, some of these things baffle me as well. During my time as a police officer, I would see different types of accidents, and sometimes you would wonder, how did this happen, how did this occur? But a lot of the times, it happens because persons are not attentive.
Look what we have here.
Yeah. Persons are either paying attention to their cell phone, they're looking away or concentrating on something else. But when you are behind the wheel, your concentration should be on driving, on doing the things that are.
Aren't cell phones banned from use during motoring?
It is.
It is.
But let me explain something. If you stand by any corner, go on Wildy, and you see every day, not less than 6 out of every 12 people that pass there on the phones. And it is worse when the traffic is slow. But you know what? They feel they're right. Some parts of the states, there's about 30 states in America, if you get into an accident, the police, the first thing they do is to check your phone. They don't have to take your phone, give me the number. They run a check. If that phone was being used at the time that you were in the accident, you're going to be charged. But not only that, he could be using the phone, but I'm driving. I'm still going to be charged. But
because he was creating the distraction for you.
That's it. And the problem here is that we have to enforce the law ourselves. We are waiting for police to police it, but the police cannot be everywhere. And that is where most of our accidents got inattentive. Sometimes you're on the phone, you're going to turn right. You know you have to turn right down the street, but unfortunately, that distraction, however how slight it is, you pass the road.
The other thing too, Roland, that I'm beginning to see creep back in is people forgetting that they need to buckle up.
Oh yes. Well, just recently, while I was on the road traveling to take my daughter to school, I observed a driver, well, it was a taxi, and I saw children standing in the vehicle. So they were in the back of the vehicle, but they were leaning between the space of the two front seats.
I hate that.
I don't think that, again, I think it's optimism bias. Everybody wants that can happen to them. But when I was younger, on a bus, I was involved in an accident where the person in the car, the child was standing in the back of the car, and the child came from the back straight to the front onto the windshield. So that stuck with me. So when I saw that on the road, I blew my horn. From behind the person until they got next to them. And I was like, yeah, but buckle up. Because there was like 4 school children in the car, 4 young school children, primary school children. And I believe that none of them were buckled.
None of them were buckled.
So I blew my horn and I informed the driver, like, yeah, just make them buckle up because you don't know what could happen.
Okay. And it's true, we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll talk some more about what's going to happen after the break. Remember, you can call us 228-5562, 228-5563 if you have any comments, queries for Erskine or Roland this morning with the Barbados Road Safety Association.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, general practitioner and healthy lifestyle advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. Remember, you can call us 228-5562, 228-5563. Now, let's look at the causes of some of the accidents on our roads. I don't necessarily want to lay blame to any particular sector, what have you. However, at night, one has to be extra careful because of all of this illegal racing. And then to the motorcycles, not my friends from Black Knights, but these other ones who come in between vehicles, come up on your left, the wheels in the air, all kinds of things, stunting right in front of you. I actually watched one a day roll up on the back of a vehicle. It's scary.
I see that the other day, the scrambler guy, but he was doing this because he knew the guy that was in front of him, and there were about 6 other guys behind him, video recording with the dash cam on their head, on the helmet. Now what is happening, he came down the highway, and at a certain point he lifted the back wheel on the tail gate of the vehicle that is in front of him, because they're all together, and he video recorded that all the way down BET Hill.
That hill,
yes,
that so many people come over at what we would call breakneck speed.
Yes, excessive speed, because the speed going down there is only 40 kilometers. You understand?
That's what it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
But I don't know if I've ever seen or been with anybody who did it at just 40.
Well, I teach people to do it because you must observe that the ABC has different speeds. From the Grantley Adams Airport to the Gary Sobers roundabout, it's 80. From the Gary Sobers roundabout to Bussa is 60. But remember, coming down from the Polytechnic, going down the hill is 40. Then from Bussa...
I think everybody thinks that the entire highway is 80.
No. Some people even believe that Highway 2A is 80. Highway 2A is only 80 from Bakers going to a mile and a quarter. But from Warren roundabout to Rockdon, the intersection Bakers, that is only 60. But everybody believes when they hear highway that they mean the ABC.
80.
No.
Yes.
Because you got Highway 1 to Highway 7. And they're only 60-kilometer roads.
Okay, thanks for educating us there on that, Erskine, so that the speeders would know that all areas of the highway are not 80 kilometers per hour. No, Roland, the accidents, like I was saying when we started, unfortunately do claim lives. And one of the things that you all have been doing is victim support and allowing it.
Well, we've been a part of the Road Safety Association in terms of how the committees are set up. There is a space for a victim support committee. Our pastor Medaz is the head of the victim support committee, and he offers counseling with a trained team of counselors. But as I was discussing with Erskine before we came on the program, victim support incorporates a lot more than just counseling. I myself was involved in a quite serious accident, and I know what happens after the accident.
Trauma.
There's trauma. You need to take care of that. There's mental trauma, because at one point I could not, whilst in the vehicle, look at oncoming traffic. I had to turn to the side. I couldn't face oncoming traffic because of the trauma that I experienced because of the accident.
So that means you were a passenger for a long time.
Yeah, I was got back into driving, and that's something that you need to think about too. How do you get these people back behind the wheel and driving in an appropriate manner? And also there's the aspect of physical rehabilitation.
All right, I think we have a caller, and we're going to talk about those elements. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead with your question or comment.
I have an elderly friend, a female, and I take her places. Let me move from in front of the TV. I take her places, and at first she used to sit in the front and use the seat belt. But now she tells me the seatbelt make her feel as though she's choking. So I allow her to sit in the back without using the seatbelt. Is that all right?
No, it isn't legal. What she can do, like myself, because I have a medical exemption from a doctor, which allows me not to wear a seatbelt. So that's what the caller can do. She can take her friend to a doctor, a medical practitioner, and he will issue her with a certificate which exempts her from wearing the seatbelt while in the vehicle because of her condition.
So when you get that claustrophobic kind of feeling because of a seatbelt, is that something that your education drive would speak to? Are there other issues that people have being in that close space on the road that could actually impair them while driving?
Yeah, but let me explain what I had to do to a lady who's robust. She's big. The seatbelt keeps pulling her. What I did, I told her, let's use a method. We use a clip, one of those clips that you clip the clothes on the line, a closed clip, and you clip it to a point on the entrance or the exit of the seatbelt coming out of that slot, coming to you, so that it doesn't keep pulling on her. So it still operates the correct way, because when the impact, she goes forward, so the clip is not a problem.
Right.
What is happening to those persons who are claustrophobic, all the time you're driving, the seatbelt keeps holding you tighter, some are more seatbelts, but that clip would hold it from going in too far. You're still being held by the seatbelt, that in case of the impact.
And this clip is something that we can easily get.
Yeah, medical practitioner will give you a document that in case of anything, you would have that document to prove that you're claustrophobic. To show if the police should pull you over and let you know. Now,
let's look at the night driving and a concern which one of our online audience has. The bright lights, the new halogen lights, the super brights as they call them, that are almost blinding. Do you all have concerns for them? Are they legal, first of all? And is there anything you all can do in terms of trying to assist people? Because,
well, the law speaks to the lumens and the distance which the headlights can spot. What happens is that most of these vehicles are coming with these lights. It's not like before, when persons would go and they'd be third-party light. It's coming from the manufacturers like this, so that poses a problem. What we can do is advise and educate people in terms of when they are approaching other vehicles, just to dim your lights, because a lot of times persons are driving with their high beams on. So when you see a vehicle approaching, you don't have to wait until the vehicle is right in front of you. When you observe it, then dim your lights, come off the high beams and go to the lower beams, so as to avoid the hindrance that you might cause by the high beams just going directly into somebody's eyes.
Right. I was saying halogen, but we're now gone to the LEDs, which are even brighter than the halogen ones.
But I have a suggestion pertaining to that. What I did is I bought some sunshades. By day, one section of that sunshade, it carries two shades, a kind of an orange light and a clear one. One is for the sunlight and one is for the night. When you pull that shade down, you can still see clearly through the light, and it is going to cut the glare of the other vehicles coming to you. They're even glasses.
It refracts the light.
Yeah, they're even glasses. You can put them over your normal glasses, and that alleviates that problem. But don't look at the light when it's coming to you. Focus on the left and proper side. Focus straight ahead on the left and proper side. If you look at the light, that's when it blinds you. But there are some that are, especially in the morning, you see early morning, with those, I can't call the number.
But you're lucky that you see them early morning, because a lot of people drive without lights when it's dark.
And that hurts me. I spoke about it on numerous occasions last week. People driving at 5 o'clock on 5:15, you're going the opposite direction, and at last minute you see this dark car coming to you, you just have to pull off. And I think light is important.
We have a call here. Good morning.
Good morning, Barbados.
Yes, go right ahead, sir.
Listen, I drive on Highway 2 very regularly, and there are about 3 bridges, and there are no reflectors on those bridges. So if you are driving at night and the rain is falling, you can't see those bridges. If you drive that road now, you would see that a lot of those bridges got the stand up iron, where people run off the road and hit them because they can't see the road reflectors. And also there are no reflectors on the road, side of the road, speed the road. because the road is dark. So there are no reflectors present at night. You don't know if they can run off the road or if they're in the middle of the road or what.
Okay.
Also, there's some junctions where the paint is not done on a regular basis. If you go to the corner of Passage Road,
yes.
you can't see those
all right, just give them a chance to respond. Go right ahead. Bridges.
Well, relative to what the caller said in terms of the visibility and awareness of the coming bridge, well, what we would suggest is that we want to be able to liaise with the MTW, Ministry of Transport and Works. So our Road Safety Association, we want to be able to have a greater interaction with the public. So when you have these points and you can bring them to us, therefore you have a body then going forward to approach government and saying, well, these what happened, and we make these recommendations accordingly.
So let's hope. But you know what I've heard the other day, Erskine? You know, there are the cat eyes in the road.
Yeah.
People actually dig them out.
I kind of have a little doubt about that. Let me explain something to you. You're going down the street doing 50 kilometers and something happens and you have to brake. Might be a bicycle. So what happens to your right side wheel? It goes on that cat eye. So when you brake, what happens? Sometimes it carries along with you. You remember we live in a hot climate, and because of the heat on the road, the necessary paste, the thing that stick it to the ground, might kind of get soft.
Okay.
And those happen regularly, and then it moves and even shift into the road. I don't think people
You
dig
don't think
them
people
up.
move them? I know they do.
Unless a fella move it to put on the wall next to his house.
That is exactly what they do. Which isn't good. But let's look at the general road usage. If you all were to rate how Bajans use our roads, would it be half of them passing or all of them failing?
Can't be all failing, can't be all passing, can't be half passing. Majority of drivers do drive good. Because when you look at our accident rate and our fatality rate, comparing it with all the other Caribbean islands, we have a very good accident rate, a very good fatality rate, although any one fatality is too much. But if you look at it overall, and look at the volume of traffic we have on a limited road, we still have very good road users. But remember, there's some reckless ones, some some that need to be taken care of. And that is why it keeps stressing. And we're going to put it up again to government. We need those traffic wardens, those inspectors, those guys in beige and brown, that they can do their job. When one does something wrong, we can take them off. The law is there. The last amendment was made for it. And I think that if this is implemented along with the demerit point system,
I was just going to get to that.
That demerit point system, that will work.
Now, you know, we assume that those men in that uniform are only there for minibuses.
Yeah, yes. People assume so.
Nope.
But they're there for all the road users. And again, as we mentioned, Erskine and I were discussing some of these things earlier before we came with the program in terms of the demerit system. We want to see a demerit system in place. And as you said, in collaboration with the inspectors, then we would see a reduction. We hope to see a reduction in the amount of accidents and the issues that we see on the road, because persons would know that somebody is there and enforcement is taking place. So the main issue, we believe, is enforcement. We need some more enforcement.
Now, I remember one of the things that your association was calling for before was retraining after a number of years, and if the individual gets into a certain amount of accidents, that they would automatically have to go and get defensive driving training, etc., to retool for the roads.
Right. That is one of the other measures that we believe that we can be utilized in terms of retraining, because if you see a person continuously getting involved in accidents, then it would suggest that that person is not thoroughly au fait with the rules, or may have lost some of the ability to manage their vehicle on the road. So then retraining would be necessary, and it would be a helpful tool for that individual, because sometimes everyone doesn't want to admit that they have an issue, but then if you have a scenario in place where they have to go and get the retraining, then it will benefit not only that person but the other road users, because then that person will not be a hazard to the other persons on the road as well.
Can I make a short?
We just have a call and then I'll get. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, go right ahead quickly, sir.
It's about this guy. I drive regularly from the top of my to 6 road. And they repaired the road, but they haven't got flat cameras, especially in corners. So I hope that I get to tell them that you can't see the corners that but like.
I haven't heard you clearly, sir. You're asking about lights.
He said something about 6 Crossroad.
Oh, okay. He's talking about the repaving exercise and painting which happened recently in 6 roads.
Yes.
And he's saying that they've not put back the cat eyes in the road.
Okay. All right. What I can do is check with Mr. Marshall at the license and MTW. He deals with the painting in the road and ask a question about it. But what we need persons to do is that you've been there before. There has been a change in the painting. Observe them before you do stupidness. If you go into a lane and you recognize the lane says left, when you want to go straight, go left, make your turn and come back, because you've got to get off with it. I believe that the ministry is going to send out some more, even on CBC. We'll have more maybe footage on it that people will be made aware of it. But remember, the lanes, it is different from a 4-point. It is a 6-point. So you have to be au fait with how it is operating now before you do anything that is wrong.
Yes. Okay. Yes, they have repainted it, and we need to pay attention up there in the east. I want to thank you both, gentlemen, for coming this morning. I'm hoping that 2024 brings no carnage on our roads whatsoever, and that we all observe the rules and regulations.
Safe driving.
Thank you so much, Roland, and thank you so much, Erskine Cumberbatch, for coming this morning.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
When Morning Barbados returns, we'll be talking with Paradise.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack? Or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I want to welcome Cicely Clark-Richmond, the Director of Barbados, here with us this morning. Now, Cicely, parent education, that's what Barbados is all about. What were some of your achievements for 2023?
The fact that we were able to, I think, sort of strengthen our recovery from, the effects of COVID. That was important to us. We were able to go back into the community, because that is one of the hallmark of Barbados, going into the community, sharing our knowledge and experience with regards to parenting and helping parents to become better parents. We held 4 one-day seminars during the month of May, and that was a highlight for me in terms of we were out there in the community and we were able to meet some persons who wouldn't normally, come to our classes, and we are something that we want to strengthen in the future. We also able to switch out 2 of our parenting classes. We added this year co-parenting and conflict resolution, because we felt, based on the responses from persons who would have taken the classes, asking them what would they like to see, and those were 2 of the main subjects that they wanted, because conflict resolution.
And that is something which comes about a lot.
Exactly.
Divorce and separations,
and co-parenting. How do you parent this child when you are no longer in love, you are no longer in a relationship with your former partner, but you both have a child, together. So.
And then sometimes when your ideologies don't line up.
Yes. The ones did, but all of a sudden now they don't. So how do you put the child first, the interest of the child first? So and it's been going very, very, very well in terms of the responses from the parents, because they can relate to it.
Early childhood education is also one of the things you do.
Yes. We were able to increase our numbers slightly, which is something we wanted to do. And last year as well, we were able to, and it may seem like a trivial thing, Sports Day, which because of COVID we were not able to do. And we were able to actually do this again. And it was a fantastic experience, because the children, aunties, parents got together and be able to go on the field and build relationships, and strengthen those relationships. So that was one of the things. And we continue to do our best with regards to helping parents do what they're supposed to do as parents and understanding their role. It is not easy being a parent. We all know that.
And part of that early childhood development too also speaks to the special unit that you all have at Barbados, because while some of these individuals may be a bit older, the level that they operate at is still within that more childhood sphere. How much more activity have you been seeing in the area? Because I remember your Sunshine Center, that was...
Well, let me just clarify for you. Sunshine is a different...
Right, it's on the compound.
But it's not related to Barbados. That's its own separate organization. So we would do what you would call, the normal children from 3 months to 4.5 years that we would normally cater to.
How big is your role now?
Right now, currently today, we have 145 children.
145 children in one nursery space.
Well, no, we have 3 spaces, 4 spaces actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the babies separated, and then you go to the in between, and you go to toddlers, and they go to preschool.
Okay, so that sounds like it's working out fine.
Yes.
Now, parenting. How do people know, well, if I need a little extra help here, I can get it by doing this or doing that? How does your outreach program operate?
Well, obviously we're a nonprofit, so we don't have a lot of money in terms of advertising, but we do our best with regards to our parenting, our radio program. We've recently, just ending of last year, we added a production coordinator who is helping us to better reach out via social media, because we know that a lot of people, don't even watch television anymore. They go on social media. So we've been increasing, our reach out there so that people
And are
get the
people
message.
comfortable in sending queries and so on through that
Well,
medium?
they will call, and that's the majority of people will call or ask a question via somebody else for that matter. But obviously something we have to improve, and that's what we brought on this person, a volunteer, who is helping us to increase our outreach into the community via social media.
What for you, outside of the whole co-parenting issues that needed to be addressed, what are some of the other burning issues right now that Barbados has on its table to deal with?
I think it is trying to convince parents that it is not wrong, it's not bad, it's not embarrassing to ask for help. I used to say the only perfect parent is God, you know what I mean? And he didn't need any help, but we do. And as I said before, parenting is difficult. It is hard. I don't care how well you think you are put together. It is difficult because you're raising another human being. So it is trying to convince that, yes, you can reach out for help. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help with this 2-year-old, this 14-year-old, whatever. I need help. And that's what Barbados is there for, to help you. It was established about 52 years ago with the main objective to help parents become better parents. So that is what we continue to do.
Now, in terms of lining up for 2024, what are some of the main things on the cards?
Well, late last year, we held discussions with the Attorney General's office, Minister Corey Lane, and we're looking to work with him in terms of going out into the community, continuing that and strengthening that. We're looking to go into...
That would be the parent outreach program that we heard him talk about on
exactly,
the news this morning.
exactly.
Okay.
And we want to go into the polyclinics for those parents who, just had a baby, don't know from A to Z what to do. We want to go to them. So that is something we're going to be doing. We're also going to be going further out into the community as well. Another part of that program is our prison program. Just before COVID, we would normally go into the prison and work with those prisoners who are about to be released. And working now with the Attorney General, we're going to get an opportunity to strengthen that program, not just deal with the inmates who are coming out, but their families, because you're coming back into a house or a community where you've been gone. And they might, think they're going to welcome you back. You think they're going to welcome you back, and they want to, but they don't have the right, the skills and the knowledge to now deal with the new you, and you dealing with the new them. So that is something we're going to be strengthening, because we feel that is an important part of helping parents as well, because a lot of the men and women would have lost contact with their children. And some of them did not have contact as well. So that program is something that we're definitely looking forward to getting back into. And again, as I said, going into the polyclinics, so that when you come and you're waiting to see the doctor, that we'll be there to talk to you. How are you doing? How are you coping? What are the areas that you need help in? Barbados is there to help you.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, what about materials? Can I come pick up leaflets and so on still to give me some tips?
Yes, and last year we were able to do some printing of some material that we were able to update. So there are pamphlets, there are booklets that parents can come and collect from Barbados, yes.
Okay, so in terms of your final takeaway and parenting, if you had to say to me, I'm struggling, I need to breathe, what's the first thing you'd tell me?
First of all, breathe. First of all, recognize it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent or you're a bad person, but that you just need some help. And look at the ways in which you need to involve yourself more. Children want time. They don't want they may think you want the
Time
material
more than things.
Exactly. And time is the essence in terms of spending time with your child.
Okay.
And everybody's busy. We know that. But you've brought a child into the world who needs you, who didn't ask to be here, and you need to carve out some time to spend with that child, to really get to know that child, understand, what the child is thinking, not thinking, and do your best to spend more time with your child.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for spending time with me and us this morning on Morning Barbados.
It was a pleasure.
To talk about Barbados a bit and what they're getting into. Cicely Clark Richmond of Barbados. We want to thank her for coming this morning. Now, before we go, tomorrow on Morning Barbados, it will be Entertainment Friday. Yes, Dance Fest will be back in the house. We'll also have Trevor Prescott, the special envoy on reparations and enfranchisement, along to talk about that as well. So lots to look forward to tomorrow morning. We want to thank you for being here this morning, and do have an absolutely terrific Thursday.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados.